Well, it's prepping the live stream, so you got about T-20 or so.
Okay.
Take your time though. It's not too big of a deal.
All right.
You're good, man. Hey, what up, Roderick?
So,
Oh, actually, no, I just realized. Take your time though. It's not too big of a deal. There we go. Alchemy, Yesenia, Salavi, Roderick. How's it going, you guys? How's it going? Thanks for stopping in. Cue Reaves, I don't know if he's on the screen yet. Let me see. He stepped out for a second. He's got to do something. Oh, there he is. What up, man?
What up?
You pull up the...
Is there a delay? Like, can you hear me when I speak?
No, I'm hearing you loud and clear. The only delay is from the people. They'll be here in 20 seconds after is what Zoom said.
Okay, I understand.
But, yo, squad, welcome back. Stoked to have Cue Reaves here, the subconscious specialist. Everyone give him a thank you for coming out here and spending some time out of his day to get to know the man behind the scenes, in other words. I'd like this to be, just so you guys kind of know the direction of this. A lot of my followers put me on to Q. Actually, I don't know if you know that or not, but I found you from at least 3 of my followers. They're like, yo, you got to check out Q. And then I checked you out and saw that you did stuff with Ashir. And I was like, damn, he's been in the circle for a minute then. So I reached out, got him on here. And I will admit that I did not slam as many of your videos as I wanted to sort of.
Nah, it's all right. We can slam information. It's cool. It's
I know.
No worries.
I know. And your videos are deep too. It's not one of those that you can just like listen lightly 5-6 minute clips, you know?
Nah.
So yeah, thanks for coming on, man. In fact, I appreciate it.
Nah, thank you for having me.
Definitely.
I'm just happy to be working with more men during this time. They want us to believe this is a time of separation. When odds are when something separates, it comes back around. So even if we've been at such a time of separation, we're now at that convergent point, you know, that precipice, that nexus. And I'm just happy to be here with you during that nexus, during that step.
That's nice. We're already hitting on some stuff that I wanted to talk about. The spiritual world, self-help world, seems to be the healing world in general seems to be dominated by women. Even when I'm like looking out to get help, it's like I see a lot more women than men when it comes to like mentorship or training in certain programs. Maybe it's just a circle that I'm hanging out in. I don't know. That's why I was so stoked when I got a hold of you. So
now I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. But females usually tend to hold more information than men, which gives them what you could perceive to be heightened abilities, you know, compared to men. I definitely believe females have more abilities. I mean, we know they have more chromosomes, and a woman her body is able to handle a lot more than a male's body at times. We'll just say that. We don't give birth, so I'm gonna give them that.
Yeah, I know, right? There you go. That feminine spirit, man, it's got something to it. It's definitely a little more all-encompassing than the masculine, though not as concentrated. Dope. So tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How did you? I don't know how often you talk about your history, your come up, or how you got into this, or if there's any like really life-changing experiences that can be summed up, you know, that was like light bulb for you. I'm curious to know.
Yeah, for sure. So this was a matriculation of pain and pleasure. And I go with the same frequencies that a lot of the occult or esoteric or hermetic principles follow. For example, Nazi Germany held into the frequency SS because he understood the science. Through struggle comes salvation. Well, he might not have known that science, but regardless, those frequencies kind of hold each other in tangent. From one point, you can learn another science. You can discover another science. So through pain, I discovered pleasure. Now, this isn't pleasure like self-glorification, or pleasure like masturbation, or pleasure like let me go uh, praise this carnal form. No, it's the pleasure, and I'm taking pleasure in what I do in my life now. And it took a long time, it took a lot of pain for me to get to the point where I'm happy with my production, because it's been a long time in my life I was unhappy producing what others have demanded on me, what others have told me that I need to do. And I used to think to myself, like, you can't tell me about me. You can only tell me about you. And people were constantly projecting themselves on me. So after realizing this truth, I said, what would it look like if I focused on my truth, if I focused on my journey? I would say I've probably been in the metaphysical community maybe mid 2017. I started a Facebook group called Womb Man, and this came out of pain. I was in various Facebook groups getting kicked out because one person would say, this is what a chakra is. And a person would give me a full rendition, a breakdown of what it is on a spiritual level. But I would then question, okay, but how do I apply that into my physical form?
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah, yeah.
understand, like, I get it. Like, I understand y'all go hard in the astral realm, dream realm, all that. What is this? I know we say we're spiritual beings having human experiences, but that's the exact term. We are still having these human experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
This shit is hard. Like, we can negate the human experience all we want, and then that's just more pain that gets put on it without discovering the pleasures within this pain, or within this tension, this struggle, this friction. Let's just call friction an aspect of pain. But
Uh-huh.
remember, the Bible did tell you something interesting. Like Eve was forced pain during childbirth. So like we are kind of living in, that concept as well. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm just explaining we're living in the pain of that which comes before us. That's all I'm explaining. I don't really
Uh-huh.
care about the context of it. Just whatever origin story you believe in, it
Yeah.
most likely originated through some type of friction or pain. So anyway, after trying to create these different uh, ways of me being a part of their community, because I never thought of me starting my own community or even myself as a community. I said I
Uh-huh.
have to be a part of somebody else's. So I tried to do the Facebook group thing. It didn't work too successful. They kept blocking me or restricting me when I kind of
Why?
said what I thought was right or what I thought was associated to what they were talking about. So then that led into me going to seek physical groups. During this time, I was living in New Orleans. So I actually joined like a coven or like a witch group.
Mm-hmm.
And um during I'm gonna be honest, so during that time in 2017, I used to take like prescription pills,
Mm-hmm.
and those prescription pills would kind of like let me numb out all the pain that I was going through so I could focus on whatever was next. I didn't know what it was. It's now. Now is what my next was. But during that time, I altered myself so much. I was going through so many different personalities. I was going through so many altars, so many animations. Like think of it like an altar. Like when a woman sets, oh not a woman, but when a individual sets up an altar, it's set up to praise a certain energy. I was going through different altars, praising and unlocking these different energies through prescription drugs. And maybe the combination, unfortunately, of those prescription drugs. I stopped 2018, so 2 years now, but it was a combination of like so much that maybe get to the point where I was like, none of this is good enough. Like the drugs wasn't good enough. I used to model, so I used to be around a lot of women. I used to be
Mm-hmm.
able to like sleep with a lot of women. That wasn't good enough. Like everything was not good enough. So I was like, damn, this is like what celebrities feel like. They have everything. I'm not saying I had everything. I'm
But you
just saying
could you
I
could
was,
get a glimpse of what it's like
yeah,
and still not get the satisfaction. I hear
yeah.
you.
And it scared me. I was
I
like,
bet.
damn, like what the fuck? Like they're, so this is it? So I was like, nah, there has to be
Yeah.
something else that I can contribute or offer besides what I look like, or besides me masking my pain. So I had to conquer both those. I had to realize it because it's not just about me walking down someone's runway. Look at me, look at me, look at me. Like I needed that to go out. I needed to go beyond just look at me, because I need you to hear me. I don't want you to just look at me. I have stuff that I think should be heard.
Yeah,
So I
definitely.
used to hate that. I used to hate like, yeah, but you're so cute. I'm like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But hey, listen.
Thank you.
So,
I thank
so,
you, but
like, so from that, I had my own Facebook group. I started doing videos because they kicked me out the little coven thing too. Basically, she
you got kicked
claimed
out of the
that,
coven too?
yeah, she claimed, this is what she claimed. She said she claimed that I came to a workshop and I was noticeably high. Now here's the thing about that. When you take prescription pills and when you start to take these things to normalize, it's very difficult for someone to say you look, it's like I could smoke weed all day and very few people will be like, he looks high, because it's normalized. I've done it so much. I was doing that stuff so much during that time that I knew that wasn't the case. I was around tons of people. I was around people all the time. I wasn't anti, I'm more anti now. But I realized that something else bothered her. And I opened up to her and I told her, you know, I take prescription pills. I was transparent with her, just like I am in this community.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think
yeah.
my transparency gave her an opportunity to figure out how to separate herself. Once again, they realized I knew a little something into what they know. And I guess in these systems, they like to have triangle schemes, pyramid schemes, you know, one person kind of at the top. So that bothered them because everyone sees themselves at that top. And I don't need to listen. I don't need to be in nobody's top. I'll be at the bottom with y'all. Like, I don't care about nobody's top. Like, I get it, but that's not for me. So I mean, that's just a taste. You know, someone I opened up my heart to. We took I gave her some of my salvia so she could kind of explore and open. She was seeing bears in the war between the witches in the 1600s. Like when she was on her salvia trip, that's a whole nother situation too. The
Damn.
salvia has also kind of opened myself up. And,
Salvia divinorum?
Correct. So I took that as well, and that was a complete trip down someone's lane.
You've got to be the first person that's brought that up and was able to use that in a beneficial light. Most people take that and they're just like, that was madness. I'm never doing it again. I've never tried it, but because of the crazy stories, and I'm not opposed to psychedelics either. Well, you are based in California, correct? Yeah. Okay, so I'm pretty sure it is legal there. We're going to check before. We'll check. But if it is, I'll be able to send you a connect so you can get it shipped to you. All right. If your state is legal and there's actually a list of the legal states, then there's no issue getting it to you. But you won't be able to get it if it's not a legal state. Anyway, salvia is very interesting because people have to understand that we're dealing with bodies. Even in Christianity, they're telling you you're dealing with the body of Christ. You're dealing with bodies, right? And you're dealing with the digesting of bodies. What do you think you do the first, let's say, 15 years of your life? You are digesting bodies. Some people choose to go vegan. Some people start to take that decision around their teenage years to hold back on the meat and everything. So I'm not opposing that, but that's still your foundation. You were consuming bodies. All of us were. Everything has, yeah. Even consuming your mom. The milk is coming out of her body. You are consuming her body. Yeah. So we're talking about the consumption of bodies. So when you ingest an herb, you are ingesting a body. And the crazy thing is these bodies actually have names. So marijuana, you're actually ingesting the body of Mary. The word ayahuasca, you're actually ingesting the body of Aya or Oya in Orisha. When you're smoking salvia, you're ingesting something called Sally. Sally's world. So you're going in Sally's world or Sally's body. You're going in Mary's world or Mary's body. You're going in Aya's world or Aya's body. And every body has their own way of handling things. Aya is a little more laid back. It goes over a period of days. It's a transition. It kind of helps you in that process. Sally will kick you in your fucking face like an Italian old man named Sal.
You know what I mean? She's straight mob with it. She's like, there's no period for you to process what's going on. You go to hit it and it's like, boom, right in there. Now, you have to take the right amount. But if you take the right amount, you would then get pulled and actually pulled very quickly into another space place, which is what happened to me. Now, I mean, I can talk about that. I know this I've talked about it on my channel, but I don't mind talking about it with you if that's what you want.
It's on you, brother. This is your show tonight. I just want to make sure it's informative and entertaining and
Is
helpful
everyone
to the
cool?
squad.
We good family? Everyone good in there?
I fucking love plants, man. I can especially entheogenic plants, man. I can talk that shit all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
and really what we're dealing with is the releasing of DMT within the body. Now, you know that your sacral area produces DMT. I'm not going to give you the exact organ. I don't know if it's your liver, your kidneys, or your bladder, but one of those organs below you in your sacral area produces this DMT. It's called the little brain, your gut, you know, this area, the little brain.
Yeah.
You also have your lungs, which of course releases DMT. And then of course your pineal gland releases DMT. So how you're digesting this herb or this plant is explaining how you're releasing the DMT within your body. If you were to eat shrooms, of course you're going through, you know, the kidney, liver, that area, the gut. And that's how the DMT, and of course with the mixing of the hallucinogens and the plant, that gives you that experience. It gives you that nudge out of your current space-time. And this is the difference between acid, because acid is a completely different construct. It doesn't go through the lung system as most of the hallucinogens that we're familiar with, like marijuana or salvia or ayahuasca. All those are kind of going through the lung system. Acid is going straight from the gut to the brain, because you're putting it in your well, honestly, it's not even really going in your gut. Acid gets broken down into your bloodstream. That's why it hits you and affects you the way it does. But we're not here to talk about all them drugs.
We're have to do a separate botany segment.
That's all, because I'm into that stuff too. But here's what happened on salvia. So salvia lasts for about 10 minutes. And how ironic that it's almost down to a science.
I'm on a live right now, little buddy. Here, go inside and close. I'll come on and talk. I'm working right now.
Oh, little one?
My old nephew, yeah.
All right. So how ironic that it mastered itself to a time frame, because numbers matter. Numbers are expressions. Expressions animate within beings. Numbers, of course, connect to angels. Numbers, of course, connect to planets. Numbers, of course, connect to chakra parts or body parts or organs. So numbers matter. Now, they matter so much that your protagonist that you have been told or you have been shown or told about, known as Satan, holds on the frequency of a number as well. Because if you slow down and say the word 10, you're literally saying 10, like the number 10. So why are you holding on to this 10 frequency, this 10 man? You put 10 over your head to stop them from listening to you. You know, this is the weird stuff that's associated with 10. So it's now showing you 10 is also associated with brain waves. Because in every little video that we've seen growing up, they put them little 10 hats
the
over their
tinfoil
head.
hats on. Yeah.
So you know this has
Oh, go ahead.
I hit it.
I was just saying, I'm curious what if I were to do some digging on the metal tin itself, what kind of different things, like the atomic structure and the atomic number and all kinds of things going on with tin.
It's 50.
It's 50?
Yeah, it's atomic number 50, 50. My name is Quinten. In Latin, Quin means 5. And then we know 10 on the periodic table is 5. 5 plus 5 equals 10. My name literally means 10. Quinten, the fifth 10.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the 10 frequency is around us. You just have to kind of understand what they're saying. So anyway, it lasts for 10 minutes. And while you're in there for 10 minutes, your time frame does not seem like 10 minutes. That experience seemed like maybe days, Maybe I went through several different modalities, so maybe days. But I'll explain what happened first. So I ingested the herb via inhaling. I hit it first. I blew it out. It didn't really take me anywhere or do anything. So I immediately got back. I smoked it out of a bong. So I immediately grabbed it again. And I hit it. And I remember putting in the smoke. And I remember blowing the smoke out. And the smoke started to like spiral. But I kind of like felt like I went with the smoke. Man, that actually gives me a thought that I've never really thought about or spoke on before.
Hit me.
So everything has to have a conduit. Everything needs a body. It don't matter.
For sure.
What it is.
You need a
Body
vehicle. A
tool.
spirit needs a vehicle. Yeah.
So what was the vehicle for me to get to the astral realm? Well, you know, astral is also associated with ashes, and ashes produce smoke.
Mm-hmm.
So did I fucking travel in the smoke? Was it the smoke that actually brought me to where I need to go?
Well, the natives say that specifically, that they burn copal because the smoke is what it releases the prayer to spirit. That's what the smoke for burning copal, for example, burning frankincense. So yes, to answer your question.
I can't make this shit up. I mean, because it's like, it just be because all my stuff is life experiences. You know, I've never had the opportunity to be like a book person. You know, to have access to these type of books, so to even know what books to read. Now I have a strong inkling on what to research and stuff like that. But I've already kind of discovered these things through my life. Anyway, all right. So it felt like I got pulled through a space. So you know how some people say that when they die, they see a tunnel?
Yes.
Right. So I have a theory on what the tunnel is. So the tunnel is not what you would perceive to be like a formed tunnel or a pre-constructed tunnel. It has nothing to do with pre-construction. You moving faster than the speed of light is producing your tunnel. Because what happens is everything becomes stationary as you're speeding past it. And as all the things around you are stationary, as you move quick, it looks like a streak. You see, you can't even make out the fucking lighter.
Yeah.
Streak. So all these things produce streaks of light. As I was pulled up or down, I'm which way is up? Anyway,
pulled through.
Yeah, through. So and the crazy thing is, Looney Tunes had that thing so because like
damn,
like Looney Tunes always did that little pop thing.
Space
so, like,
Jam, especially.
Yeah, so
that's how they got to the other dimension, actually, through the little golf hole, and they got sucked.
That's how I knew sound is the creator. But that's also why in Space Jam they did the whole golf scene with Michael Jordan and the whole that's all associated. It's all about the fucking black hole. But anyway, so I understood that this is what I want people to really process when you're dealing with like what you can call an astral realm or the outer body. You're dwelling within the sounds of others. And you have to be careful when you're dwelling within the sounds, waves, thoughts, ideas, suggestions, guidelines, or instructions of others. Because then when does any of that stuff come from yourself? When do you get to guide yourself? When you get to instruct yourself? When you become aware of yourself? When you get to think for yourself? You gotta ask those questions. So when I went through on Salvia and I heard that pop, it was like that. It was like popcorn. It was like popcorn. Dude, yo, everything is so fucking occult. Dude, do you know what popcorn is about? Remember, the corn represents your pineal gland. So they want to get your pineal gland to pop. It's a corn. It's a corn. Children of the corn. The pineal look like a corn. It's a corn.
Oh, acorn. I associate with acorn, but same shit, man. Acorn, but corn, acorn.
Yeah, and they want to pop your corn. So how are they popping our corns? How are they popping our pineal gland? Well, how do you pop your popcorn? What do you use?
You mean actual popcorn?
Yes.
Most of the time, microwaves.
So what is popping our popcorn, our pineal glands? Microwaves.
In a good way or in a bad way? Because that seems like a bad way.
That's debatable.
Because I know you can pop popcorn on the stove. Well, you need heat. You need heat to pop the corn.
Correct.
But I know microwaves is an incredibly efficient way of making that shit pop.
Correct. It's an artificial form of heat.
Uh-huh.
So we are popping our pineal glands through artificial means. Now, what is the sun trying to do to counter that? By having natural heat to pop our popcorns.
Uh-huh.
So we got like natural heat versus inorganic or artificial heat that's warring over our bodies on top of HAARP. HAARP is dishing out about 3,000-4,000 watts. And that's on the low end. That's on the low end, 3,000 to 5,000 watts. Sometimes they could get up to 30,000 to 50,000 watts, but they're not going to tell you that. They're going to say that they're doing, a little low frequency of 3,000 to 5,000 watts. You know how many watts the human body gives off? About 100.
Damn.
The heart gives off about 2 watts. So the whole human body is 100 watts. I heard someone, I'm not going to drop no names, but I heard someone saying like how we're going to heal Earth or fix the world or heal the mother or whatever. And I'm thinking in my head, like, do you understand the laws of physics? In order to move a body, you have to either have a like body or a bigger body to affect it. Would you agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if HAARP is dishing out 3,000 to 5,000 watts, you show me who's coming together as an organization. So that's 500 people. 5,000 watts, 500 people times 100 watts, that's 500 people. What 500 people is focusing one conscious idea out at the same time, all together, organically, physically?
They're not many. It's true, they're not many. But
if we go to contest HAARP, how are we going to do that?
Numbers.
Thank you.
And so here's part 2 to that. This was from Napoleon Hill, who wrote a bunch of. He's only known for Think and Grow Rich, but he's written some fucking. You talk about occult writings. Homeboy was about it. Anywho, he has this idea called the Mastermind. 2 people come together, a sort of intangible but conscious third mind comes into play. That's a combination of the 2 or however many minds that are joining. But he also said that they had an amplified effect. So what's that to say? Maybe HAARP is pumping out a bunch, but if you do get 500, who's to say it is only going to equal the original 100 per person? Maybe 2 is 250, and maybe 3 is.
I agree.
700, you know what I mean?
I agree. Well, this is the whole point of increasing your EM field, your electromagnetic field.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about magnetism is opposites attract. But with electromagnetism, it's not about opposites. It's about like attracts like. Mm-hmm. So you have to be aware of your spark or your charge. Because if not, you're going to be sparked or charged in opposite directions of those are sparking or charging the same frequency as you. I'm with you.
Damn, that was like 6 tangents that I could have gone to that fucking.
I know, I'm trying to stay organized, dog.
No, I know how I got notes written. I'm like, damn, we're already past the notes. I can't even fucking. Anywho, resonance and about like attract like in the electromagnetic field. What? I guess long story short is, what's the easiest way that 2 people can come together and I guess focus that resonance so that they can build up on each other? Because I'm basically what I'm thinking is in terms of a magnet. So when you put 2 magnets and you line them up to where the electromagnetic fields are going the same direction, like try pulling apart 2 magnets. It's almost impossible to pull apart 2 strong magnets because the force fields basically are lined up and fucking doubling the amperage. Is this what you're getting at as far as people trying to do to make a shift? Are you even trying to combat LARP? Is that a thing? Is that like we gonna combat LARP by the human EM field, not by?
It'll shut it down. Our bubble will be greater than its bubble. And you know what happens if you put a smaller bubble next to a bigger bubble, and the bubble goes into the other bubble, it forms into a bigger bubble.
Yes,
we consume it. So, all right. So the magnetism comes in our blood. But you know that your blood then travels through your organs. What are your organs? Those are your shock rods, meaning electricity. It's called shock rods. So they are your charged up light. All right.
Yeah.
So as you travel your blood through your organs, this is then when you become organized.
Hey.
The problem is we're not operating with the same organ frequency. And the crazy thing is we now have tools that can monitor the resonance within our body. You can actually see how many hertz your heart is pushing out.
Can the consumer get that?
Yes.
Or is that some shit that's in a big lab? I can order that right now on Amazon and get me a fucking meter?
You have to just know what to look for. It's a resonance meter.
Okay.
Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to be able to figure out how to measure the certain organs within your body. Now, I have theories on how to do this. I'm not saying it up here. We can talk about it offline. For sure. But for sure, I have various theories on how you'll be able to combine.
Yeah, I don't mind theories if you got them and they're not backed up by science, if you're putting it together. Unless you're not sharing because it's low key at the moment, it's not ready to be shared, then by all means. But if you had shit that
I mean, it's not for me to figure out by myself.
All right.
That's another thing. But it's not also for us to come on a platform and be vampirized, to drop these ideas for people who have a stronger position, to put them in a forceful way. When we're trying to gather those that are operating off of our heart, which is will. So we're going to will all those right individuals together. And then when we have all those right minds in the right space, we got NDAs, and you get what I'm saying? We do it the right way.
No, that's fucking, because I get carried away and get excited, and I'm like, you guys got to fucking hear this shit that I just thought of. Like, come sit down, you know what I mean?
Nah, our brain, you got to understand, we're at the age of information.
Yeah.
Information is one of the most valuable assets, stronger than gold, stronger than any Bitcoin, any of the shit that's out here right now. It's information that is on the rise. So if you get into the information game, what do you think Elon is? I mean, Elon, my bad.
Fuck. Elon. Well worded.
You know what an on is? An on is an I knew.
And L means God.
Anytime you say I knew or say the word on, you're holding on to his frequency. The dude, I knew has his words and everything. A-N-U. You can play the game with it. How many words got A-N-U in it?
Damn.
How about January? How about Luna?
Yeah.
L-U-N-A. Let's just do it backwards. A-N-U. Isn't a lot of words.
El is God in Hebrew too, in the Old Testament. Like Elohim was the gods, and El was. Damn, Elon, huh? It's right there in front of us, hiding in plain sight, as they always say.
The Elves would be more of a Pleiadian construct, just so you know. They bang out the number 11. And if you believe in Stitchin's work, which some of it kind of holds weight, but he believes that he believes that the Anunnakis come from the 12th planet. And that's what they call it, the 12th planet, or call it Planet X or Nibiru or Nib's Heru. But the 11 concept is an Elvish construct. If you look at like Lord of the Rings and all that, that's the Elvish energy.
And you're saying Pleiadian for that?
Yeah, those are the elves that didn't allow themselves to get captured by technology. Because I also believe that the Pleiadians have been harvested into technology, so that the ghosts of Pleiadians are in our like iPhones and shit now.
That's a wild fucking statement. I'm setting up a interview with this lady who runs a Elven Lord of the Rings YouTube channel, and I'm a fucking huge Lord of the Rings fan. I have a Lord of the Rings tattoo on my arm that you can't see because I'm wearing the long sleeve. Anywho, she is into the occult as well and talks about Pleiadians and starseeds, and was saying the same thing, how Pleiadians, and she feels called to Pleiadians and to the Elves. So she's all about the elf and fairy folk from Lord of the Rings and the Pleiadian videos. And what's up with that connection? How the hell did that fucking come about?
What, the Pleiadians
and the elves? And also what you just said about we're getting fucking all over the place. Most important question.
If family's good, if they good with it, we good, you know?
Oh yeah, true.
I'm like this all the time.
And they tend to be. I'm scatterbrained as fuck. Usually on my YouTube channel, I'm like, you guys can either stay and hang out and chat or not. Like, just because you're on here, I'm like, should I ring it in, dial it in?
Nah, you good.
That's always been one of my concerns. Is I see movies like Star Wars, and I'm like, fuck, lightsabers, traveling to different planets at the blink of an eye to experience different worlds in a single lifetime. And I'm like stoked for technology. But then I read articles here and there, few and far between, and what you just said right now about Platon's not giving in technology. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm caught in between. I want to go to fucking other worlds like they do in Star Wars that I would assume you need technology for, but then people like the Palladians didn't. So what's good? Like,
So there are multiple ways of getting to a space, and what motivated you to get to that space is going to define your trek.
As it should.
So what motivated Europe to pay the Spaniards to put a Spaniard on a ship and cruise around the world? What motivated them?
Fuck, treasure, booty, land. They wanted to conquer new lands. They wanted to find gold. They wanted to find easier.
Where was the gold?
Well, they thought the gold was, well, the gold is everywhere, but originally they were sailing to go to a shortcut to Asia.
Is that they thought that the gold was in Asia?
Well, no, actually, they knew the gold was in Africa. Africa had hella fucking gold, but gold was all over. I'm not sure where you're getting at.
So they had to go to a land where they can connect with people that was similar to themselves.
Yes.
They are Spaniards. Are Spaniards rolling up in Africa saying, hey, brother? Is Spaniards rolling up to Asia?
Nah.
Hey, brother.
Not really.
Spaniards rolling up to South America, which is what happened.
Yeah.
Remember, the Mayan invasion came from Spaniards. This was, so here's my theory.
Hit me.
The Vikings were subdued, just like any quote unquote great race. And I won't deny Vikings of their greatness. Don't do that. The Vikings died with the science of building ships. Now, are there other cultures that knew how to build ships? Yeah. Were them other cultures willing to teach them? No. Not at all. So they had an issue. They were stuck. And because they were stuck, what fucking good is it if you have gold and you have land, but your land is barren because of winter conditions? It does not. Hello. So what do? You got to go out. You got to explore. But you got to go with a race of people who are willing to work with you. Those were the Spaniards. And then they basically, okay, so it's my theory. People, now, first off, I need people to understand that America, the tip of South America and Central America used to be called Turtle Island. It was not called America or North America. They would name their lands after the polarities that they associate with. And they felt like America or that area was on the back of a turtle. So they called it Turtle Island. So there was an indigenous people that kind of represented what you would call the Numos or the turtle race. There's connections in that as well. But my point is, they understood the science of the water. So South Americans also still knew how to build boats. Now, of course, Africans know how to build boats, Asians know how to build boats, South Americans know how to build boats. But the Spaniards can't go to Africa and say, hey, teach me how to build a boat. Spaniards cannot go to Asia and be like, hey, brother, teach me how to build a boat. But if you look similar or even could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I believe, in my personal opinion, the slave trade, or what we believe to be the slave trade, is not exactly how we have been told. Everyone didn't come out of Africa. They were actually gathering races of people to help them build boats. So, and you can look this up because this is facts. We had the most boat yards of building boats in America. There's like 50 of them in like the 1700s. Our biggest, the thing is, we never really made nothing. We ain't never really, all we did in America was have these ships, these boats. And you can look it up. I don't have my stuff in front of me, but you can look up how popular shipyards were in the early 1700s. Where the fuck you think they had people to build these ships? Who the fuck knew how to do this? It wasn't them. They had to capture people to help them build these boats.
Yeah,
so that then Europe can tax all of the other countries for using these boats, these systems of travel. There's a lot more to that, but I'm just trying to just throw that out there slightly. It's deep. You gotta be of the tree to know the tree. Let's just say that.
Damn. All right.
You ever seen OA?
Yeah, I have actually. I was gonna say, how did we get on that? Traveling more than one ways to travel. I have seen OA. I did actually. I enjoyed it too.
And in season 2, he was explaining how we all have a seed inside of us.
Yeah.
And that if you can get your seed to pop, then it's going to bud. And they were actually
that's right.
stems and stuff coming out of them.
That's why they were growing in that fucking pool. Yeah.
Yes. And the pools is space. Because what's connecting all of us is the tree inside of us, like Avatar. That shit is a whole nother deep ass science.
We can fucking talk about Avatar if you want. That's my shit right there. That's the world I'm trying to get to. That's why I'm like, all right, sign me up for technology if we can experience some shit where I'm fucking hooking up to animals and flying through the sky on fucking glow in the dark nighttime planets. Or do I have to ask fucking Papa Salvia Divinorum for that?
You might have to, right about now. Because the problem is we are now toxic with inorganic behavior. And here's an example. In ancient times, if beings wanted to heat themselves up, they would and what you do is you send, it's a kundalini charge. So you send the to the base of your spine or all the way down to your diaphragm. And as you you charge it all the way up until it shoots out of you. Anyway, it can kind of shoot out of you with like a loud roar, like a loud, that kind of situation. But my point is, we used to naturally heat ourselves up. Now, no one's heating themselves up. The fuck? Hey, Google, it's cold. Turn the degrees up. Like, that's where we're at now. And that is a memory. Because this is another thing that we don't really understand, how complex we are. That we are photons that come together. Those photons are little photos. Photo. They're little photos of experiences or memories. And then when they all come together, they become charged or sparked. That's electrons. And then they still have to be in a neutral space. A neutron, still a body or a nucleus. But this is no different than like your brain, where they'll tell you your brain is kind of associated to a reptile brain. And then you have two other parts as well. So let's say the reptile brain would be like the nucleus. But then you have something called a neo-mammalian part of your brain. Then you have something that's called like pale mammalian. I might be saying it wrong. But my point is, it's the same friction. It's showing you these, I'm going to protect my young. I'm going to consume my young. And let me explain that. Like consumption of the child. That's somewhat like a father energy. Kind of projecting, especially if it's a boy. When Christianity tells you the father is the son, when I'm boy. Where you have the other spectrum that will embrace you. But this is talking about your brain. because one part of your brain is kind of serving you melatonin, while the other part of your brain is giving you serotonin, kind of stuff that, if I'm not mistaken, gets you up, kind of charges you. So one part of your brain, now the serotonin deals with the left side of your brain, which is masculine. So the father's constantly trying to charge you up, keep you motivated. While the melatonin lets you rest, get ease. It's like, my point is, like, even in the body, it's telling you what's going on. Like these frictions, like these like, all right, here's another way I explain it. I think of it like this: like, we come from the body of our mother and we come from the body of our father, where I feel like one of my eyes is associated with my mother and another one of my eyes is associated with my father, and they're just getting along right now.
Yeah.
But let one of them disagree. Let the mother start seeing some other shit. What starts happening? Schizophrenia. Start hearing voices.
Yeah.
Let something get unbalanced between your past. But this is why we don't want to deal with our past, because of how much accountability gets put on that third being you were talking about. You know, when you said you put one and one together, you get this three.
You get the mastermind. Yeah, it's called the mastermind.
So that's also known as the inner child. And that we are all still dwelling within the body of this child, but this child is being forced. And I explained it. I said, here's what's happening to your child. And if anyone takes this story and relates with it, great. Your child is like, okay, you get, and I'm not gonna put race or nothing in it. You get two moms inside of a grocery store. You get one mom where she had to work about 60 hours this week. She gets no male support. Her food stamps is being restricted down to half of what she had a year ago. So all these emotions is put on this being, all right? And she got about 4 kids, and they're like running around the store. And what is she doing? If you don't sit your ass down, get over here. Just stay here. I'm gonna beat your ass when I get home. It's just, because I get it. I get it, love. Fuck, I get it. But I just want you to slow down and listen to what I'm saying. All right? This is what's happening on one side over here. Well, on the other side, you got the mom. She's not worrying about half of those things. Most likely a stay-at-home mom, if it's possible. My point is, you got this little boy, he's around the store. She's not yelling at him, get your ass over here, stop that shit. Hey, what you doing? Mom, I'm flying through the sky. You know, I'm an astronaut. Yes, you are an astronaut. You can be an astronaut. And the crazy thing is, in his mind, he is actually in his future.
For real. Especially kids, man.
Astronaut. He is time traveling.
Yeah.
That dude is time traveling. And has been given the opportunity to travel time. If you travel time, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Fuck, which is essentially what's happening. And at least as far as the kid's concerned, he's like, fuck, mom, I'm trying to fly in space right now. My bad. And what was making me think earlier when you said that we're living in a child's body, and I've always wondered, like, why the fuck, why then? Like, we were children for such a short amount of time, and you just made it click for me. Was our emotions are so unfiltered, raw, and powerful as children that they burn that much more. So if that negative emotion gets burned as a child, it's like, imagine
it gets drilled inside you.
Exactly. Like seeing how excited my 1-year-old gets with like playing with a ball. I'm like, damn, I haven't been that happy in 3 days for the biggest things. You know, that the energy from children is massive. It's
not because the kid is not seeing a ball.
Yeah.
He's seeing himself as a god forming a star. This is what that 1-year-old is seeing. But what happens when you take his ball?
He fucking loses it.
You take his star. Take what he considers his own form of illumination, and then your child turns dark. And then you wonder how we get these fucking serial killers in the world. Don't they give you a star when you do good in school?
They do.
They taking fucking stars. They're taking your rings. Shit is crazy. damn hedgehog. So what you're dealing with, because
which is out right now.
right. So what you're dealing with is memories. Once again, now I often explain the memories that we experience inside of a body. You know, fighting the sperm, which is in essence the aggression that a lot of people are feeling now. Someone asks you, why do people die? Because everyone doesn't get an egg. We're going through the process. We're
Yeah, you
inside of a
said that.
body right now. So I'm trying to explain those things. But on a deeper level, our memories go even older. Now, you can call that a big bang. You can call that a memory. Because it's very simple. It's a 3-step system. Memory, thought, action. But where's this coming from? Memory, God said, let there be light. Where the thought or the memory had to come first. Remember, the God saying let there be light is the 3rd step. There had to be 2 steps before that came. The thought and the memory of it, or the blueprint.
Okay, I understand. I see.
Right?
I see. Yeah.
So
He's pulling it
blueprint.
from somewhere. He has a thought, but he's pulling the thought from somewhere. Like
correct.
Who
Even fucking said you could speak? Who gave you that goddamn thought? Where did that? And then now you know thoughts are being projected on you.
I see.
Has a whole nother concept that I think thoughts are being projected from a feminine polarity, and it is the thoughts that's being projected onto the male from a feminine polarity that is giving you your birds or your thoughts, your Heru, your thought, or all those beings. It is kind of the motivation, like the action hero. Like the action hero is always doing these actions to win some woman's heart, or to resurrect, or to get back. I'm coming back to life to get back my woman or connect my woman. The movie Ghost, like literally, it's always some pull that's coming from that feminine position. Now, what that pull is, it's a memory, because she's still trying to process this memory. But instead of her going in, she's going out, which is an issue we're having, because she's expecting the man to do it, aka go out, because she's expecting the action and not to remember her own memories or that which she has created before she had to get lost in the action. Anyway, it has to do with the black hole. All right. So in the center of a black hole is a speck. It's a little seed. It's a little finite piece of light. Now, you won't get this in science, but you will probably get this more in channeling. I've seen it. So I'm just giving you based on my personal perception. Do you want to know what the memory of an inner child? It's the little speck. It's the little embryo. It's the beginning gestation, fermenting stage of you. You are this little condensed white light that is dwelling right there within the center of a black hole. And it's condensed. It ain't even formed. It's like it's just a seed. But that seed is projecting out into the ring or rim of the black hole. This is what you call a quasar. So there's actually a ring that surrounds the black hole. It actually kind of looks like a sun. It's pretty deep. This ring or this quasar is made up of all the different colors of the rainbow. So that is actually where a lot of us are experiencing our existence, within this quasar, within this ring. You are the Lord of the Rings, and you can kind of master your quasar and then enter your black hole or enter inward. And then when you enter inward, and the deeper you go inward, you always get to this child. Now,
the memory.
Correct. Now, this child has often appeared to be like an albino. And it blows my mind, because even quote unquote melanated women who get into these deep trances speak on this this strip of melanin, this albino child. Now, I have theories about what that could kind of represent. You ever seen the movie Prometheus?
Just once back in the day when it first came out.
So Prometheus consumed. It was a play on like Adam and Eve, where he was eating the apple, but what he was eating was a pomegranate. And that pomegranate was poisoned. And when he ate it, they poisoned him because it is said that our world was based off our existence is created off a sacrifice. This is why they're redoing that same sacrifice story of Christ. Remember, we're in the era of Christianity, even though it's dying out. This is done, this whole shit, this whole 2,000 years.
This whole age of Pisces.
Get what I'm saying? It has to do with that energy, but it has to do with the sacrifice of that being. And not only, once again, the sacrifice, remember what I started talking about at the beginning of this, the consumption of that being.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Prometheus was explaining. All right, we're made up of, the greatest percentage in our body is made up of what?
Water.
Okay. And we have to consume water to survive, right? All right. So once again, I'm telling you about consumption. In the Prometheus story, he was poisoned and his whole body was stripped. And it was actually, he was poisoned with melanin because he started turning black. Now, melanin is said to be a sentient thing. A lot of people claim to be melanated, but being melanated and having activated melanin is two different things. You can house something all day. You can know something all day, but if you can't apply it, it don't mean shit. So you can know you're melanated all day, but if you can't apply your melanin, congratulations, you know, for your knowledge. So application matters. But my point is, in the Prometheus story, he was poisoned or introduced with a sentient consciousness that broke him down. And it broke him down to the point where his body disintegrated into the water. And it is said that from that body, all life sprang forward.
Oh shit! Is that what that was? Was that the intro scene of that movie where he's standing there? Damn. All right.
That ain't the only time. There's you ever seen the Star Trek series?
Not really.
There's a new one called Discovery. You've seen it. It's like this. They're called the Vril.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Called the Vril.
Yes.
That's one word to define these beings. Now, an extension of them would be considered the Nordics.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I can see it.
But these are beings who have access to memories. Remember what the seed represents. Memory, the darkness is thought. The problem is we're unaware of our thoughts, so it's black, it's unaware. Once you start to converge your quasar or your light into your dark hole, that's when you start to reanimate the memories or pop your corn. All right. So might have missed what I was saying. I'll get it back. So all right, so the Vril, all right. So the Vril associates to several constructs. One construct is what you refer to as Dracula. All right, now this is a theory. We know sperm to be white.
Correct.
Which would represent, once again, that concept of that albino, that pale energy. Now, you know that sperm holds memories.
Absolutely.
Right. I believe that this energy known as Dracula is also an extension of Prometheus. Explaining that we've got our memories or the original progenitor of a spermicide. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean our spermicide, but a spermicide, all right, connects to this being. This being ejaculated, all right? Now, just process, all right? This being, Dracula ejaculated, all right? Therefore, separated himself.
Correct.
And created children.
Yeah.
Now, you prolongate it you see there's a connection between this pale energy and like this mammal. You know that in Twilight. You
Yes.
know
Oh
that
yeah,
there's
yeah, yeah.
a connection between this pale
That
thing
was
and
a
create.
that was a crazy contrast too. I never realized how important that, because even it seems like you're so warm, and they would walk around without shirts, and it was always that they were really warm, dark, and these ones were
Yeah, this is the werewolf and Dracula concept.
uh-huh.
This is literally, and you see it in a lot of different contexts.
Uh-huh.
Now, you also have another movie. Let me see if I could think of it.
We'll get you a question, Salavi.
It was lost my train of thought again. I'll get it though.
So I keep notes, dog. So
yeah, I'm about to whip out the little notes.
I do have a question. Maybe because can I sidestep a bit?
Go.
It's actually not a sidestep. It's relevant. There seems to be in this community, and I know you've come across it. You actually commented on it that you didn't want to get involved with the race war and the melanated, non-melanated, spiritual, non-spiritual. So if you don't want to talk about it, we absolutely don't have to. And I'm down for that. I'm dead. So if you don't want to, I'm super down. We can talk about the fuck. I just brought it up because it comes up a lot for people in here, and myself. I'm curious.
So what's the question?
All right. So specifically, the question is, well, here's what Salavi Studio says, and she's brought this up to me before. I have found the skin tone factor confusing. Not all people with dark skin are spiritual. Clarification ? And I've seen it other two people where it's basically black versus white, melanin versus being more spiritual versus non-melanated being less spiritual.
Okay, so this has to do with. Oh, okay, all right. I know what I was going to say. Let me just and I'll build on that. So my point is, I'm saying that Dracula represents the progenitor of a life form. Okay, and he separated himself. And what is he doing? What holds life? Blood, correct?
Yes.
Your sperm has blood in it. Now, he is consuming himself to get back his memories. That's why he's eating, attacking, sucking the blood out of people.
Did you see the new Dracula?
No.
On Netflix?
Mm-mm.
It was the first time Dracula was portrayed this way that I'm aware of, where he would drink someone's blood and he would be able to turn into that person, because he'd be able to talk like them, think like them. He'd have all their thoughts, like be inside their head, know their fears, know everything about that person just from tasting their blood. Verbatim what you said. It's just I just watched it like probably like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
Correct. And this is about building up memories.
Yes.
So that then this energy can then introduce all those memories in a robotoid, cyborg, 10-man. Shit's deep.
That's what fucking that circles back on the quasars that you were talking about.
That's what I'm like, race. We passed the race.
That's also usually my response. I mean, I personally see it in more of which might fucking help you with your theory. So this isn't even a theory. This is just science. Is people near the equator are darker because they need protection from the sun. But a downfall of being darker skinned is that you have so much melanin that you block the UV too much. So black people need to be in the sun for fucking 5-6 times the amount of white people to get the same amount of vitamin D production, because your vitamin D comes from the reaction of UV and your skin. Further north you go, you don't need as much melanin. So the sun's not around. Sometimes the sun is gone for fucking 3 months at a time. So the evolution was, all right, we'll lose the melanin. That way we can produce vitamin D 3 times as fast because we don't have as much melanin in the skin. We get the same amount of vitamin D in 1/5 the time. So for me, it's just all about evolution. Because even white people or Caucasian people have some amount in it. It's just what that changes is how sensitive your skin is to UV light. And if you're speaking in terms of as above, so below, then something seems to be in information coming from the sun, UV. If you're darker, you need more of it to stimulate because the melatonin's blocking the sun. I don't know. But at the same time, I'm also completely past that because I look at it more scientific and not necessarily. Because I do try to blend science as much as I can, which is fucking cool because now science backs everything. You can, like you're saying, you can measure your own EM field with science. You can measure how it changes the structure of water molecules just from thought. You know, how vibrations can influence physical matter, and that's documented. So it's like that's usually where I lean with. But I know I wanted to bring it up because some people in the chat room brought it up because.
Well, I can keep going. So they said, have any of you ever heard of Lilith?
I'm sure everyone here has heard of Lilith. Yeah, definitely.
So Lilith is said to be, well, in certain texts, it is said that she was banished.
Mm-hmm.
But not only was she banished, she was cursed.
Mm-hmm.
And her curse was a form of leprosy or stripping of her skin as well. But this was based on her not being able to live on the surface. This was her being forced to live in the earth or in a cave or whatever word you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
She was separated or pushed away from the sun. This energy produced the body of Eve. So this energy is still going to be familiar with us. It's still going to influence us. Like, there's a lot to say about that. I don't even want to get into that because I be getting yelled at.
I know. That's why I'm like, fuck, how do I say this without getting anybody upset? Which is damn near impossible, to be fair.
Nah, it is. So here's the best way I can explain it.
Oh, Ashira, shout out. What up, Ma? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
If within, we build on top of worlds. So if inside of us we have a reptile and a mammal, that means that our origin stories are associated to both a reptile and a mammal. Yeah,
which is interesting because I always hear about all the reptilians this, but I'm like, wait, don't we have a reptilian brain? Like, you know, don't they have pineal glands with lenses on them too? That's just like,
yeah, the reptilians were associated to what you'll call the cone heads. So they were more elongated. So you see them.
I've seen drawings of those, like the channel drawings.
Or them elongated skulls. King Tut had an elongated skull.
Oh, yeah.
But that's just because they have elongated pineal glands. Reptiles have different body systems than mammals. You know, they're cold-blooded, but outside of that, there's a lot more to it. They're connected to thought patterns and waves. Now, so are mammals, but mammals do it different. My point is, if we have origins connected to a reptile and a mammal, then what are we as melanated people? Are we reptile? Are we mammal? Then what would quote unquote white people be? Would they just be reptiles? But yet we could do the DNA and see that they have mammal DNA in them too? Yeah. Like, I'm confused. Like what point? Like, what is the point? Like, I understand why there would be separation in the past.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Because we didn't have, well, we could have, but according to science, we didn't have the technology we do now. Intermingle and engage. So I can see the separations.
Wait, I got a story. When you're done, my bad. I thought vomited right there. My bad, man.
No, you good. Good. So just my thing is, I think it's more important to see what spirits are pulling on us. Yeah. Than what race we associate with. Because your race or your complexion, of course, represents the outside of you. But that has only a small degree of importance when it comes to what's going on inside of you.
For sure. Because even when you start thinking of like,
you can start learning what's going on inside of you first, you're not really going to understand how to use your body or this tool or machine that you have. Now, on a greater level, our brains are like supercomputers. And it is through our skin and our organs we can charge up this supercomputer. But all of us have been hacked. They show you that on the Matrix.
And
So we should be more concerned with what has hacked us.
Amen.
And then we can worry about, that's the race we got to figure out first. I call it the rat race because we test subjects. We got to figure out how to get out that race first. I'm not negating. I'll let anyone honor, represent whatever race they want. I'm down for it. But can you show me how to get out of the first race first? We are test subjects. According to Black Law Dictionary, we're the dead. Get into that.
We might have to. Tower of Babel. You ever read that? I know you reference the Bible on occasion.
Is a book called the Tower of Babel?
It's a book. It's a passage in the Bible in the Old Testament. So here's the original story from Hebrew, talking about how, having technology to be joined as one back in the day. Well, according to the Bible, we were during the times of the giants and shit like that. And it was Babylon, the Tower of Babel. God is talking to someone. He goes, hey, it's been a while since we've checked on the humans. Let's see what they're up to. They come down, check out humanity. And God goes, I'm paraphrasing. He goes, holy shit, look what humans are capable of when they have one tongue and they are one person. They can be like us. And so he said, let us go down there, confound their language, and scatter them across the earth so that they can't understand one another. And according to the Bible, what I put into that was that could have been the start of racism, because according to this text, which is similar to the ancient Sumerian text, almost verbatim at times, so I wouldn't be surprised if this story is in the Sumerian text, that we were one race, and that the gods, whatever was going on, whoever this is designing the rat race, was fearful of what humanity was capable of when we had one language, one at least one identity. I love the fact that there's different races and that the races are mixing together. Like, I'm mixed as fuck, like it's crazy to see life evolve. But to be like, yo, we're humanity. We have one identity as the human race. Like, let's come together and make shit happen, not be fighting over religion.
I'd rather say that we're natives. And I'll say that we're natives of the womb. And everyone came out of that motherfucker. Come on, we can't deny that. If we're gonna have to figure out some singularity we can agree on. So I wouldn't have a problem if any person of any complexion called themselves a native. But I'm gonna ask you where you come from. And if you don't say the womb, then it's debatable, but it has to be some type of agreement, some type of understanding. Now that one language, that's your emojis now. That is your hieroglyphs.
For sure, yeah, absolutely.
And also during that time, we didn't speak. It was a whole nother construct. See, I dropped a video called Observe, Report. I forgot what the third part was. So my point is, we were going through a period of observing gods. They were actually literal, which if you want to call it extraterrestrials or future beings or us, once we get to that point where we can actually travel back to the past. My point is, it was us, and they were observing the gods. They were in a period of observation. And then when the gods left, that's when they started to report, which was all them coming up with a system of communication, which was hieroglyphs. Now, hieroglyphs also associated to hand communication. All right, so if you look at the Sumerian text, you can see it. It's like you could put hand signs to the symbols if you really look at it, because we did not talk. Our ears was incredible. Anyway, so I have a theory. I have a theory that angels are kind of warring over human beings as well. And also warring over the positions of beings. Now, in Sumerian culture, there is a war god by the name of Jibble. Now, I believe Jibble has an association to a Catholic angel. Now, let's ask this question. We've been told that Lucifer represents kind of like God's choir.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Right?
read texts that say that when God speaks, he sings. So I'm like, damn, I'm really thinking of this like a body. And Lucifer was chosen to be like the throat chakra. And you got to put all these, organisms together. The thorax, it's a tool. So this is the tool of God, the throat, and he was chosen to be that tool. Like Michael, he holds over the sword of God. That's why this right here looks like a sword. If you were to go pull up a skeleton, I can pull it up. It literally looks like a sword right here, or a necktie. They ain't slick. But my point is, Lucifer will represent, like, in essence, the voice of God at a time. Well, then we hear of a burning bush.
The acacia.
God speaks. And you know the angel behind that burning bush?
I don't.
It was Gabriel. Gabriel chose to be the voice of that burning bush.
So the voice that Moses heard was Gabriel, not God.
God don't speak.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Now,
they do say in the beginning there was the word.
That was reflecting the waters, because God didn't make the waters, because the memories is within the water.
Yes,
That's
it is.
a whole other construct.
Yes, it is.
So Gabriel chose to be the voice. But is there any other proof that he has chosen to be the voice before I go on a limb and kind of, throw my theory out? Well, I heard it was Gabriel that communicated to Muhammad. I know there was an angel involved. And once I dug deep, I found out that angel was associated to Gabriel. Are you aware?
Me, no. I didn't know that.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Some people in the room might be aware of that. But it is said in Islam, it kind of came from an angel, or was spoke through, or oracled, or associated to an angel. This angel was known as Gabriel. So Gabriel kind of has taken on like the voice, to be like the word. But in Babylon, they made everyone speak gibberish.
Well, they didn't make him speak gibberish. The babble, like that word babbling, or what are you babbling about, comes from Babylon, because of that story that I told you about, the Tower of Babel. That's where the city got its name from. Babel was, no one could understand each other, so it was like, what are you babbling about? You're babbling, I can't understand you. That's where that word comes from that story, the Tower of Babel in the Bible. It's a pretty good one, man. You should read that shit. It's like all right in the mix of exactly what you're talking about.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, check it out.
I believe that it has some misinformation, because once again, I don't believe they spoke. So because if you confuse the tongue, I'm just going by common sense. If you confuse the tongue like a baby, it speaks babble. I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Exactly.
That's babble. That's gibber. That's gibberish. So you're speaking the language of a deity or a being known as gibber, or gibber, or gibbo, or gibble, which is this Sumerian war god, this Mars god. So I just believe that this was kind of a way of controlling the language. Okay, because I also believe Gabriel to be Enlil, if you want to kind of.
Able to be what?
Enlil. So I believe Gabriel is associated to Enlil.
Damn,
Enlil is the god of the Old Testament. I believe Enlil is the god of the Old Testament. Enlil, the god of the Old Testament, rolled up on humans, saw all that they were doing. He was like, nah, we can't have this happen. But of course, it was being led or guided by Moses, or not Moses, Enki, which took
Uh-huh.
on a personification of somebody in Mesopotamia or whatever that area is in ancient Babylon. But here's another theory of it. This also has to do with a race of felines. Now, these are known as like Lyrans, or
Is
it
it
is said,
Syrians?
yeah, it's also known as Syrian.
That just came up the other day. I was like, oh, I just read about the fucking felines. I looked, I was like, who are the felines? And Googled the other day and came up Syria.
Thundercats.
Yeah. That's the image I have in my head too whenever I fucking say that word.
And Babylon was dealing with that, the baby lion. Kind of following in the Syrian principles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a macro micro war.
Yeah.
So Babylon kind of was the micro cell of a greater macro cell called Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Sirius had their own wars or their own versions of destruction, it's no different than in Babylon. Now, I dropped a video a couple of days ago explaining how I believe when one event happens, it resonates simultaneously in the future or on that timeline with something greater or with a greater intensity. So like I said, like when they were shooting cannons in World War I, that's kind of like us shooting 40 cals now. It's the same energy.
Yeah.
It's just traveling this space, transmuting itself into different objects over and over and over again. This is how this matrix works. It just recycles itself into things. We've had radios or telecommunication devices for 60, 70 years. It's just recycling itself.
Yeah.
It ain't like nothing new.
Yeah.
You know, think about what has even really come out new in the time frame we've been alive. Have they improved on certain things? Most definitely.
Yeah, but brand new shit.
Probably can count that on one hand.
Yo, I'm curious. I wanted to go back to what your might be too far long gone now. I guess I wanted to know your thoughts on the Tower of Babel, or how you see it with the knowledge that you've had, because that one is like a cornerstone in sort of what I base a lot of my thoughts on in past people, one language, one race. That's what I meant to say. It still lines up with your theory where you're saying I don't think they spoke back then. I think when it says they had one tongue, just meant they had one way of communicating. They could all understand each other, whether it was telepathy, whether it was fucking hieroglyphics, whether it was something that we haven't even thought of yet. I don't know. So what do you see that story differently, like in your eyes, with what you've come across and you've experienced? Well, how are you putting that story together in your head? Like, who are these people coming down? Who are the people that they're talking about that are one identity, at least, to where they can rival the gods, at least? Or do you think the whole story is misinformation? Because I would not put misinformation past something. You know what I mean?
I believe that they put the truth in our face. It's just our job to arrange it. They scatter it.
You follow the Emerald Tablets?
I've glanced at them.
You've glanced? Yeah, I glanced for years before I started diving, which is only in the past year, to be honest with you. But an article I came up around last month sparked this thought of what you're saying, that there's these things called the archons that are the gatekeepers of each realm getting to the top. And these archons they're not out to get you. They're just out to see if you match their resonance or not. So when you raise your vibration to get to the next level, you pass up the archon, you pass up the gatekeeper. However, if you match their resonance, if they're a dark entity and you match that because you're doing dark deeds, dark thoughts, like fucking walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's a duck. So they're like, you resonate with that archon and they kick you back down. And it's all the article was also saying like, oh, it'll put obstacles in front of you. because what's the point of growing if you're not challenged? You know, it's no fucking feat to quit cigarettes if you're stranded on an island, for example.
Mhm.
You would have to be presented with the opportunity to smoke to say you quit. And that's also the rules. Like, things are put in front of you, the truth is all over. It's like obvious. You just have to be aware enough to find that shit.
So an archon is following a principle. Think of an archon as an arch. So this is just your rainbow.
Yeah, for sure.
And the problem is we haven't seen the completed rainbow, like a 360, a full rainbow. So like an archon deals with more masculine polarities. It deals with the more forceful aspect of the chakras. And if you get lost within your chakras, you then get consumed and then you get shitted out, AKA pushed down. And then you gotta start with the fertilization. Shit becomes fertilization in aspect. And then you fertilize the seed and the seed can pop or grow. And AKA you get returned back to the pineal gland. Once you get shot, you're trying to, the whole concept is for you to come off the body. So you're dealing with the traveling of the body. Now, it has to do with two primordial sounds. They're known as the two I's, or I's, L. I's. They're known as the two I's. A-H, like ah, like orgasm, like ah, like an idea, like ah. So when you're dealing with these two I's, one starts up here, one is below. The two I's. You're trying to, you ever hear the song, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, di, do? Like you go right back to it. It's showing you like your pineal gland is like a version of like your penis or a clitoris. Like it's the same thing. You're traveling through the body. So as you travel through the body, certain things have to happen for you to travel through the body. For example, you have to express yourself. This is why expression
express yourself.
This is why expression is so
amen
important
to that.
with everything. Hey, yo, hey girl, fine thing, expression. How you get to the eyes. I think I'm smart, so let me go to school. Expression, talking, communication, expression.
Yo, that's what I was saying at the beginning of this live. Was like I get excited to want to express shit, but when I was telling you that I want to spread everything to everyone, but you got to be careful. Like it even says, be careful of spreading pearl to swine, because you know what I mean. Pigs don't deserve pearls, basically.
From oyster to swine, from seed to pig. That's funny.
But yeah, I'm not sure I was going with that. What was I saying?
You good, bro. Yeah. So
we were talking about the archons and shit. That's right.
So the archons would kind of represent the different chakras within the body.
Yeah, that was my plug. I was like, all right, chakras. Eight comes up in, because that's how many notes there are on music. My bad, I'm fucking with the mic.
Well,
the musical scale.
The do is dual. So it's one and the same.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can look at that as your crown, because your brain is split, like this do-rag. This is your do and your do. But this will kind of represent more like your rings, which is these temples. Like you have these temples here within the skull. And then you have your third eye. So you have your crown chakra, which dwells within your temple, because all the mysteries and memories dwell within your temples. That's why you listen. It's deep. It's the ear, the arch. All right. So this is obsessed with memories, gathering memories. That's why we out here listening, observing, gathering our memories here. Then you gather those memories and travel those memories into your third eye. This is when you can come up with thoughts. Then you can express those thoughts, which is the first step of action. And then everything kind of stops here. This is really your first triangle, right up here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other triangle kind of starts down here. But we're going to think of the heart as a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the other triangle that deals with down here, which is the solar plex, sacral chakra, and the root chakra. Now, I'm going to run to the bathroom, and then I'm going to come right back.
Hey,
I'm going to
hit
break
it.
down all the
Everybody
different
else, roll up your oregano again and grab some wine and use the restroom. And how you guys doing out there? You holding it down? We're fucking diving hella deep tonight, this evening. Thanks everybody for being here. Oh man, this is Cue Reaves we're speaking with. I wasn't able to fill out the description for him because I couldn't. Check out his YouTube channel, QCUEREAVES, Cue Reaves. I'll write it in the chat. Cue Reaves. He is this. It was dubbed the double S, subconscious. Fuck, what do you call it? Can't remember. Anywho, he works on the subconscious mind. He worked on Ashira's channel. I think Ashira even put, I know Ashira put out a video of his with him on the channel and a video of the past life regression that he did. I didn't see either one of those videos, but she speaks highly of him. 3 or 4 people have brought him up to me in my channel, and that's only the people that have brought him up. The dude's on some next level. So check it. He has a website as well, cuereaves.com. I'll put that in the chat room for now, and then I'll put all of this after the fact. I believe that's his website as well. Subconscious specialist. There it was. I was like, it was a double S. What did I say? What was the second?
What was the other S?
I know. I couldn't fucking remember. I wanted to make sure that I threw all your paraphernalia out there, basically, because it's been a while and I haven't mentioned you again. So for those of you checking in, this is Cue Reaves. He's a subconscious specialist, and he gets down and he's on top of his fucking game. Dope.
All right, so we were talking about the chakras. All right, have you ever heard of like 7 divas?
Yes, I don't know what they are, but I haven't even studied them all.
The 7 divas would often refer to like the 7 stars, the Pleiadians. Or
that's right. Sisters. Yeah.
Now, remember what a diva represents. These are also your orishas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see which orisha kind of gets to get her shine on right now. Oshun is out here shining bright.
Yo, real talk though.
All right. So you kind of understand that certain archons or divas shine brighter than others, aka certain chakras are kind of used more than others. For example, my throat chakra is used a lot, but Beyonce, she sings, she's a singer. A lot of songs come from the smaller gut, from the solar plex, from the diaphragm. So she's often going to invoke yellow and then blue because that's the throat. That's why she's seen in water, and that's why you always see this blue and yellow construct when it comes to her, because these are the 2 worlds that she's kind of connecting to. Now, the divas and the archons,
awesome. I never thought of that before,
are one and the same, because the archons are the children of the divas. Mm-hmm. The diva represents a sound, but the sound has to go into a world. So I kind of think of it as the archons represent a spirit. And I kind of look at, like, I don't even look like people say you have a soul. My perception of a soul is slightly different. A soul is a body of light that kind of houses spirits.
Absolutely.
So I believe I have 7 souls, because each soul is trying to understand its own degree of awareness. One's trying to understand memories and has an eye that kind of keeps its eye open to all the memories that connect to me. Mm-hmm. Another one is kind of becoming aware of my thoughts, of my beliefs. Another one is kind of becoming aware of my expressions. Another one's becoming aware of my emotions. Mm-hmm. Another one's becoming aware of my actions. Another one's becoming aware of my instinct, sacral chakra. Another one's becoming aware of like my passion, my physicality. Because you can do it also. I'm becoming aware of my mental. I'm becoming aware of my emotional. So think of the mental as 2 points,
Mm-hmm.
your crown chakra and your third eye. Think of your emotional as your throat chakra and your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Think of your spiritual as your solar plex. How funny.
Mm-hmm.
Your sacral chakra, where you have kidneys and liver, spirits, spiritual chakras,
Yeah.
spiritual realm down here. And then think of the physical right below. And this is the box, your box, Roddy Rich. Talking about a box all the time. I've been going on tangents.
Is there another box? Isn't there a Bird Box movie or some shit like that?
Yeah, no, there's tons of boxes. So remember, we're dealing with Dracula.
Fucking Jack in the Box.
We're dealing with Dracula. I'm trying to let people know.
Yo, that's I was like, there was something I thought of. Did we finish that Dracula? Fucking, did we finish that? Or did we?
I dwindled away from it.
Because that was a good one. I definitely down for fucking the supernatural and creatures and their fucking symbolism.
They're your ideas. You're living in their seeds. You're living in their sperm. You're living in their ideas.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm trying to explain. Like,
like
Dracula is known as Daku. That's his real name. And in this world, we're obsessed with something called documents. And it is this being who rules over your identity, because that's what your crown chakra represents. Through your memories, you develop an identity. This being is in charge of giving you your identity. This pale, vamp-like energy is in charge of giving you your documents, your driver's license, your birth certificate, your currency, your passport, your education. I mean, these are documents. It is like an overlord. Now, I don't really like to get into the topic of Scientology, even though I feel like they have a strong idea of what was going on or what is going on. Like, if I had to break it down and like,
don't do it.
Like, who knows? The Vatican comes first. They know. Without a shadow of a doubt. Now, what do they know? Q, what do they know? They know.
What do they know, Q?
They know that the gods or the deities that you praise outside of you really dwell within you. And they don't want you to know that once you have an idea of how much control or power you have over the deities that dwell within you, you then can unlock what you would call a 12-strand DNA. That you will be able to actually activate the different pillars or statues.
Can you explain what these deities are more clearly, or go into more detail about these deities? Like, are they autonomous, for example? Like
they are your superstars.
Okay.
Horus is your goddamn superstar. Jesus is your superstar. If you follow Sumerian text, Anu is your superstar. Anyone you consider part of your philosophy, these are your superstars. And they don't want you to be aware that these stars dwell within you. Because what do stars do? They shine.
They shine bright as fuck.
And shine represents emission. What are they emitting? Energy. Energy represents consciousness or information. So if you become aware that all these energies are emitting information within you, you become a more memorial being or mastermind. You brought that up earlier. This is the whole concept.
Yeah.
The whole concept is for you to bring spirits into the mind so you can master them. That's what the movie Split was about. That's how he became the beast. Because if you activate a certain amount of spirits in you, you can activate the beast within you. Beast mode, future.
Damn. That's like 16 anime fucking shows crammed in one right there, too. And all the RPG games I played growing up.
And once you go beast mode, you activate what you would call the Yeti, Sasquatch, Bigfoot in you. Why do you think they call it a Bigfoot?
Talk about that. You brought that up for a second in a YouTube video and you said, I'm not going to go into that right now. And I was like, why not, man? That was the best part.
Because I don't think it's like I say a lot of stuff and I think like people like get it, but it's like I gotta figure out how to like organize my presentation.
No, I feel you 100%.
Because it's like y'all have to understand, we dwell within a Milky Way galaxy that is at the heel of Orion. Orion has a big foot over us. That is literally, so if you look at the Milky Way galaxy, it's representation of a female arched over.
Mm-hmm.
And by her head, there's another deity known as Orion that has his foot up, like it's rising,
mm-hmm.
like it's like a foot rising. And you're looking at a big foot. Now, a foot also has to do with the soul. A soul has to do with the heel. It's so deep. This is why in Star Wars they changed the little metal dude to a silver leg to show you the importance of the knee, of the heel, Achilles' heel. Like
mm-hmm.
I have to understand these stories for me to really go into what they mean.
Yeah. Study your mythology, folks.
But what it is it's a highly empathic being, a Yeti or a Bigfoot, a mammalian, a mammal, a hairy being, like yourself. And with the hair and the beard, this represents.
Call him a hairy dog.
Yeah, well, this represents the dog race or the dog clan that comes from the Sirius star, the dog star. Because you are showing you are a gatekeeper, just like Ghostbusters. You had key master and gatekeeper.
Yeah.
And the key master is the male, because the male represents the keys or the frequencies of the tone. It has the ability to all right.
Getting sucked in.
And I took that shot. And I took that shot for him.
So take a breather, Chris.
I don't drink like that. But the female separated herself because of the tones of her. When the tones started to get masculine, deep, she started to lose herself. I can't formulate that thought yet. That's more like a feeling. But my point is, the keys would kind of represent, in the physical realm, a male energy, because he is the masculine force or tone that's kind of dictated a majority of his story. So I'm just trying to show the connection between that. A man's sounds to the history that we have been in. He has been dictating the tone, the vibration, the keys. Holding the keys. I got the keys. DJ Khaled.
The guy from Matrix was a dude too, the key master.
Right. And then you have the gatekeeper. Now, the gatekeeper is often referred to as Anubis, this dog-like energy that guards over or guards her entrance. He is a gatekeeper. And it is the dog race that decided to be the gatekeeper over the womb. And they are warring or going against a reptile bird-like construct. An ego. So when you take on a gatekeeper role, you have to learn the science of the square. And a lot of, because I'm trying to speak in code, a lot of individuals that are considered gatekeepers understand squares. And different fraternal orders are constantly obsessing over the square. Even Saturnin or Satanism is science or geometry of the square. It's a lot on the square. The best I can say about the square is this. You have to know your edge. And then once you know your edge or your limit, you realize that there actually is no edge. It's just a step. And are you willing to take that step or that leap into your next square or box? but a box represents death. You have to be able to kill off all the things that you held in that other box to get to the next box. Or you stay in your box and constantly recycle. Dracula. There's the whole concept of stairs. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, Cue Reaves is dropping heaters on us this evening. Yo, I felt
because
that.
once you understand the square, you understand your triangles. Because the thing that makes your square is your dual triangles, one going up, one going down.
Your
You can
masculine,
reverse them
balance.
and they can come together.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they're opposing each other. We have to turn our keys because we are the key masters. We are the page masters. I don't know how many of y'all seen the little Macaulay Culkin movie.
Yo, I was just about to say that was one of my favorite movies growing up.
We are the page masters.
That was fucking hella funny you brought that up. I was
Of
like,
our
oh, damn,
never-ending story.
Uh-huh.
And until we start to take back our ink, our blood, this thing is going to feed off of our pages. Now, how do you take back your blood? Your blood holds information. Become informed. But you can't be singular or linear with your information. Because then you're going to hit your finish line. What's the quickest way to get from point A to point B? Straight line. So you go hit your finish without understanding your depths or your degrees.
Damn.
That's the story of the tortoise and the hare.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
This is why we're trying to get to Turtle Island, aka where we at right now.
Uh-huh.
A place where you can control your degrees. Because, you know, we're here with the greatest amount of Masonic lodges in America.
Oh, no, fuck. I know.
Here trying to control your degrees. Now, remember, this is all going back to what I said in the beginning. How do you control your corn? You heat it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you think you go to school for? To get degrees.
Yeah. Though I'd say that system's been poisoned too, at least the public school system. Fuck.
Every system has a level of truth in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You can discover it.
Yeah.
You have put yourself in these spaces and places for a reason. And not only have you put yourself in these spaces and places for a reason, your ancestors, because you are made up of that which came before you. So your ancestors put you in these spaces and places as well. You know how disrespectful we are to our ancestors by not acknowledging where they try to put us?
I've been thinking about it ever since that fucking movie Coco came out. Actually, I've been feeling an actual sincere. I know it's silly, it's a fucking movie, but a sincere, like, damn, sorry, Papa. Like, my grandpa who passed away. Like, you were a huge part of my life. With a lot to say where I am now, and the family at large. Like, I can't throw a picture up on an altar of you. Like, damn, like, my bad. You know, fuck. So no, I've definitely.
Yeah, it's a learning curve that I feel like we're getting to a point where things are speeding up. Now you have to understand we are a product of our environment. So they understood the only way to speed up the human body is to speed up its environment. So they speed up the rate of us getting information through Google. They slightly sped up how fast we drive on a highway. Highways used to be 45, 55, 65, some 70 now. They literally are speeding us up, speeding us how quick we could get our packages now. It's literally speeding our environment up. So you can speed up our not only perception of time, but the perception of age and our bodies. And
So do you think that's having a physical effect on the bodies as well?
Yes, the bodies are aging slow. This is why I just saw a movie where I be nosy. Like anytime an actor comes up, I'll kind of ask Google the age of the actor because I have like a little Google setup. And some actor was like 89 years old. And he was like out here living his best life playing in this movie. And I was like, nigga, you're 90 years old. Like, what? But yeah, because we're speeding up so quickly that our body can't even process our age. Think about this. You would have a birthday and you would actually go through a year life cycle, go through shit. It's going by so quickly now. I'm about to be 34. It's like, boom, I just turned 33. Like, it goes so quickly and it's only going quicker and quicker. We can't even process our age. Like, this is happening to us. This is happening to the body. So not only does our environment represent that speeding up or that heating up, because you know we're speeding up, thus heating up. Think of it like a tire. I speed up a tire, I'm heating up that tire.
Yeah, it gets hot. Friction.
So this
friction.
is what
the friction that you talked about in the beginning causes friction, causes heat. It's like the first thing it does, actually.
This is why they're so into NASCAR, because that's also showing the process of what our bodies are doing right now. Speeding up. And we're trying not to crash. But just like the movie Crash, they say that the human body is yearning for affection and stimulation and connectivity so much based on us being detached from everything that we're starting to crash into each other.
So do you not think
to get a sign of love?
Do you not think, how do you feel about technology then going forward with humanity? I know obviously you can overdo anything regardless of what it is. How do you feel about technology? Do you think there's a use? I know that was one of the things you said about the Pleiadians is they didn't get trapped in technology.
Some of them did.
Sorry, some of them didn't. But so what are you thinking about humanity's technology?
Now, the story of Pleiadians being trapped in technology is no different than what L. Ron Hubbard talks about in Scientology, where there was this overlord known as Xenu, and he placed a race of beings by a volcano and waited for it to erupt and then used a form of technology to capture them. So this story is shown in different texts and stuff like that. But technology is like a Twilight episode I seen where the episode was called To Serve Man. And the episode was these aliens came down and showed humans all kind of advanced technology. And they were basically priming or prepping the human up so that they can abduct the human and consume them. That's why it was called To Serve Man. Literally, man is on the course table. So technology is consuming us right now. Huh?
I said savage.
Yeah, technology is consuming us right now. AKA listening to us. It's listening to everything we say. Yeah. It has great memory.
Yeah,
oh, boy, does it.
Infinite fucking memory.
And what we serve to it, it was served to us. Now, if we're too busy using this technology to
consume instead of create.
Yeah. Then eventually this technology is going to eventually consume us and no longer create for us.
But yeah, I mean, that's the whole story of the Matrix right there.
Remember what the governing factors are of these technologies. Bill Gates.
Who's on some shit right now.
What does Bill Gates represent? What is his philosophies? These should be the things we ask. Worrying about the products they produce without worrying about the beings that are producing them.
Time out. This is a big point, actually. You brought this up earlier. You said where something along the lines of where we get depends on our intentions.
Correct.
Or something like that, because that determines what the path is like to get to that destination. I can't
Correct.
Exactly. But what better way than to figure out what someone's actually, I talk about this shit a lot. Like just ask someone their philosophy on the world and every question, every choice they're going to make for the most part, how they're going to react to something, how they're going to be in 10, 15 years. Like, hey, how do you feel about the world? Well, it's a dog eat dog world. You know, life's a bitch and then you die. And it's like, okay, I know how to fucking approach this person. I know how he's going to conduct his business. I know
Mm-hmm.
how he's going to answer his phone calls. I know how he's going to react to something that I'm going to say. But on your point with Bill Gates, what is his? I don't know his philosophy. What is his?
Right. I know Elon's. Now, before I get to Elon, let's just think about Bill Gates. Who is Bill Gates? You got to ask the question, who animates Bill Gates? Do we even think about what we're going through in this life? We're dealing with the timelines of our ancestors. So you don't think that you are a fractal of them?
Mm-hmm.
That even maybe the gods themselves shot out us in their sperm just so we can be a conduit of them in the future and build their timeline? Think about if we associate to Bill Gates. We're now in Bill Gates' timeline.
Yeah,
and the
absolutely.
being that is possessing Bill Gates.
We're in his like mastermind.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
So we as the micro cells of this mind, aka the body of this mind, have to be careful what we're creating, because we are creating, aka by consuming, because you are what you eat. So we are consuming their thoughts, consuming their visions, consuming their third eyes.
Produce.
In Indiana Jones, they had a famous scene where the eyeballs came up.
They were eating them, right?
Because that's what we're doing. We are eating eyes. We are eating visions. We are eating instructions. And have no problem with it.
Don't know
Q,
anybody.
what do you do? Start with becoming aware of it. Fuck,
yeah.
let's just get there. How much of this shit I talked about we're aware of?
Yeah.
Let's just start there.
Yeah. I mean, aware, as long as you get the spark of awareness, you don't need anything else but enough time and enough friction, and you'll fucking figure it out once you're awake. You know what I mean? It just takes time and friction, and you'll fucking figure it out. Speed depending upon how aware you are.
Exactly. Yeah. So Elon, he wants to die on Mars. He wants to colonize Mars. He wants to reanimate his Mardekian ancestry and memories within himself. Now, what you have to understand is something called muscle memory. And the muscle memory is triggered by the act and the environment. This is why you train your body in those situations to react to the act and the environment. The reason why they don't want certain people on this planet to travel is because they don't want their muscles to go into certain areas that's going to bring in the memories of them living within them areas and kind of activate on themselves. Activate the memory, because from the memory comes the experience. From the experience comes the thoughts. From the thoughts come the actions.
Yeah.
They don't want people to start acting in the steps of the ancestors.
And you're saying when we hit Mars, DNA is going to be unlocked to memories.
Correct.
So how do you? Is it good? Is it bad for your average person? Are they going to want to have those things triggered?
The average person ain't getting to Mars.
Fair enough. Guess it's out of the question with your average folk. Are you trying to go to Mars?
I have a part of me already on Mars.
But are you physically in your mineral salt vessel trying to hit that fucking spaceship and launch out to Mars?
If things stop capping me, I probably would be able to project myself into the body I already have on Mars.
Oh, I see. Avatar style.
Why not?
That's fucking.
What you think? You wouldn't have created a the whole your body is not built to travel the stars. So you have two options of traveling the stars: to go into a catatonic state, aka go night-night, go freeze or sleep or some cryogenesis. That's one option. Oh yay, how fun. Another option is VR. You could virtual reality it, so AKA send out artificial intelligence to map the whole known galaxy, so they can give you the generation, to generate that concept for you to live in VR world.
Yeah,
so
I'm trying
that's
to
one
do that.
concept. Or the other concept is you have to build a body that is actually space compatible. That's called a synthetic. So, are there synthetics? You're goddamn right. Russians been producing synthetics since 1940s. But you got synthetics that are on Mars right now, and that these synthetics are kind of associated to what would be called 6th generation or 6G. That's a look. We got to set up a whole nother conversation to even talk about that, bro. That's
damn. I was about to start hitting the cues too.
Understand, Mars represents 4G. Once our phones went into 4G, we started tapping into the 4th generation, which is the dead that reside on Mars. Now we entered 5G. 5G, of course, is associated with Jupiter. That has to do with justice and expression and several other factors that have, what is it?
Expansion.
Yeah, there we go. So you're going to expand on oneself, and then you're going to expand so much into a whole nother potential vessel, which would be your 6th generational self. And your 6th generational self is the 6th generation of this. Because this is already the cyborg version of you. You are already a cyborg in this. This is already the cyborg version of you. Now, Apple already showed you how they can increase your natural physical body. The new earbuds that they have something called transparency mode, where you can hear everything. Everything actually is amplified more. I also have a noise cancellation because I go to the gun range, and when I turn it all the way up, I hear even better than what my ears hear normally. I hear the rattle of the fucking grass. I walk on the grass sands and hear every grass sand. Now, I'm just thinking like, damn, we're going to get into the habit where we're going to want this so we can have this increased hearing. Now, when Apple comes forward with their augmented glasses, that's going to be the same thing. That's coming out with 5G. So we're getting ready to already start to transform the human body into this digital body, because the way you're hearing it now is through the digital form of you, not the analog version of you. Your ears are analog. When you put the device in, it becomes digital.
It's mechanical. Yeah. So how is that with your idea with technology advancing? Because having augmented reality is definitely going towards synthetic, but then again, what the fuck is synthetic? One could argue that everything is natural, since all of us are coming from Earth, including computers. Like, it's made out of Earth minerals, built with human minds, human minds. So
the gold and the crystals that are on this planet didn't come from this planet.
So what's up with that? How you mean like asteroid?
Correct.
All right. Well, yeah, it's fair. Science is even saying that Earth has been smacked a few times with.
So we've been seeded with these materials.
So
that we can use them in the future generations.
Damn.
Let's just dump all the supplies on this rock. Hey, whole bunch of crystals, a whole bunch of gold, mix in a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like,
reminds you of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. They leave all the supplies, and then they channel us, or channel certain individuals that have the right DNA. Like Tesla was one of them. He had Venetian DNA. That's why he was so tall. Those that come from Venus are a lot taller.
Where the short ones come from?
Mars.
All right, I might be a Mars then.
Most of us are of Mardekian origin, but there was a 5th planet called Maldek, so Maldekian. So you have Mar and Mal, his and her kind of situation, and Maldek was more technologically advanced, more like think of it like Vulcans, like Elvish kind of origin. And the Mars would have been more like Like, okay, you seen Maleficent? So Maleficent, Mars would have been like Maleficent, like where
Uh-huh.
all the fairies and all that shit happens. And like Maldek would have been where like the humanoid kind of constructs existed.
Like the dwarves
And
and gnomes and shit like that.
yeah, that would be more like Mars. More like Mars. But they just had a more plush type of atmosphere. But that once again is just a memory. And here's my problem with these. Our memories are also could be projected on us. So I can't tell you if any of
I know.
them knows.
Yeah, I get that tinfoil hat, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things. There's two things that you got to go. This is a hermetic teaching. Is you need to use both feeling and reason, and you cannot be imbalanced. You cannot
Correct.
rely too strictly on logic and reasoning, or you'll be swayed. You cannot rely on feelings and emotions, or you have to learn how to balance both. And that's what I've been thinking lately. Like, oh fuck, how do I know that I'm not being guided by an invisible hand? And it's like, well, if I don't know that for a fact, what else do I have? My intuition, like my gut instinct type of shit. And praying to God that that's fucking on point and accurate enough to make decisions that are going to be autonomous and not fucking controlled by other people.
Well, I really realized that, in my personal opinion, we are all being influenced, which could be controlled. Now I'm just trying to figure out what is their purpose and agenda. Because if you can become aware of why you're being controlled, then you can start factoring the others. Well, how am I being controlled? Well, when am I being controlled? What is controlling me? You know, but I need to know the why. Why y'all caring about me?
Mm-hmm.
Why
is it important to you?
Yeah. Why? Like what? I ask that more than anything, because then the why allows me to understand the who. And the who is also referred to as Hugh, H-U, like human, who, Hugh. So I'm trying to figure out the light, the who, the Hugh. Who are you? Who knows? You know, these type of sayings. Well, then who the fuck is who?
Mm-hmm.
You ever think about that when they say the same, you know, well, who knows? Well, shit, who the fuck is who? Tell
Does
who
he? I would like to talk to this who guy.
Here. So who can explain the what, the when, the where?
There's a whole community of them. They're called Whoville.
Yeah, exactly. That's a whole nother concept, because those are associated to an owl. The owl is associated to Bohemian Grove, or this Lilith, Athena-like energy. And that's why owls always say who, because they're kind of emitting that frequency, that who.
It's us, who. That's all you get, though.
Yep. They still in here? They still live? We still
we've been fucking, yeah, we can wrap it up soon, because it's fucking which is a good thing, because I thought we'd be done way sooner than this, but we could talk for hours if I let it go, but I gotta get back to fucking real life and go grocery shopping.
All right, well, tell the family appreciate it.
Yeah. Wait. We don't have to end right now though. I just meant we'll start wrapping it up. That's what I meant to say.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I wanted to just go over who you were again, like where you come from, like how did you come to be this? If you can make it in a sort of 3 to 6 minute spiel.
Yeah. So
what you do,
I took salvia,
your vision.
I didn't get enough resolve from my experience with a hallucinogen. So then I got into what would be called quantum healing hypnosis. And this was coined by Dolores Cannon. So I ended up finding a practitioner in my area. She ended up regressing me. I had a very profound experience when I had my own regression into my subconscious. And I realized how beneficial it was for me. Just like my videos, I kind of speak on life experiences, how I'm perceiving things, how I'm interpreting things. These are just, video diary of my thoughts. When I realized how helpful it was, I said, I wonder if I could do it. So I went home and regressed my baby mother and my girlfriend at the same time, just separate times. And I kind of realized the heart the heart plays a big role in this. Like if a person has belief in you, then you have a lot more access into their mind. And I realized that that's like a gift and a curse, that you got to really be careful when a person believes in you. Because even if they believe in the fear of you, you're still opening their mind and you putting all that fear in on them. So you just got to be careful with that. But I realized when a person, like I said, believes you or has that power of belief into you, you have more ability to influence them. So I kind of tried it. And then my girlfriend at that time was adamant about me doing it. And then like angels started coming through when she was talking. Jesus came through. Oshun. I mean, everything came through. All kind of
all
shit
of them.
between her
Every
and
ethnicity, like
and my baby mother.
was there.
Yeah, it was the whole gang. It was like, okay, it was weird though. It was
Some
weird.
reptiles and
So
shit.
basically, I started realizing the same type of principles that was happening. Like people have these contracts on them. That people have like these blockages on them, like these restrictions, and it's very complex what they represent. Some of them are like agreements that we have placed on ourselves from past lives. So contracts or agreements with other energies or entities, whether they're spiritual or physical from past lives. These are contracts that are actually on the physical items you have now. When you brought this right here, they gave you a receipt. That's called a contract. Your cell phone bill is a contract. All these are contracts. So you have a lot of contracts on you. And a lot of these contracts connect to beings and deities that feed off of you. And it's not a matter of you getting rid of them. It's a matter of us switching the polarity. They shouldn't be operating from you out of a system of force. If they're going to work with you, it should be out of a system of will. I'm willingly driving your goddamn car right now that represents you. Like, chill. Like, I'll crash this bitch. Like, you know, like real shit, you know? So I got into that mode. Like people need to get that sovereignty and that gumption that they have rights to this as well. Like you are a fucking sentient being that has the right to be sovereign and free. So that's what I kind of do. I help people in their sovereignty and freedom through self-awareness. It's not like I'm about to make you free. I don't want to make you free. I want to teach you how to make yourself free. So what we do is we do
and you have to. Everyone has a different circumstance, you know. They
right,
gotta
exactly. So through self-hypnosis or through guided meditation, I help an individual get their mind into that theta state, into that thought state, where they're able to address some of those subconscious blockages or restrictions within themselves.
Nice.
So I kind of started doing this about 2 years ago, and probably have a good 500 sessions under my belt.
And has it been like, I guess, obviously enlightening since you're still doing it, but have you learned more on the job? Like, fuck, I would have never come across this had I not taken up this sort of calling.
Yeah, for sure. I've understood all kind of stuff. Most of the stuff I talk about is from
sessions.
Yeah, sessions or confirmation of things that I thought about and came up in sessions.
Nice. The teacher becomes the student.
Yes, I say I'm a student of life. I'm a master of death.
Ooh, that might be a line pulled straight out of the Emerald Tablets or something close to that. Well, Dope, is there anything else you want to like add in or?
No, I'm very raw around the edges. This is not going to be perfect. My presentation is a process of growth. I'm kind of in my, if we want to look at this as a 7-year tier, 1 through 7 is kind of like adolescence, 7 through 14 is teenage, 14 through 21 pre-adult, 21 through 28 adult. I'm still in my 1 through 7 in this. You know, I just started. I just got on this journey. So a lot of people might want to contest how I come about my information, or want to put my information in a category of pseudo. I understand. I'm still kind of discovering myself in this. But those that understand it, I appreciate it. Those that relate, I appreciate it. Those that vibe with it, I appreciate it.
And quite a few have. A couple of people, when I brought you up, were like, yo, I did one of his regressions, and they were super excited about it. And I saw Ashira's video. She was super excited about it. And that's when that was like, fuck, I got to hit this dude up. People have been bringing him up too often. And
well, that's what I've noticed. Not a lot of people in the community are offering like a modality, a job, a role. You know, a lot of them keep their hands off of that nowadays and just really do more of the speaking and lecturing.
Yeah.
And don't really offer a hands-on service.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I tried to kind of offer, and I'm very proud of my service and proud of the work that I do. I've done probably about 500 regressions. I probably had about 2 clients who had issues. One had he hit his head as a child. So I actually think that he has physical brain damage that's preventing him from being able to tap into that construct. But he literally has the dent right here on his head. And then the other individual, in my personal opinion, is an atheist, even though she doesn't want to accept the fact that she's an atheist. But if you don't believe in anything, you're not going to be able to see anything. And that kind of...
You need intent, man. You need willpower and focus. If you don't believe in something, how the fuck are you going to give it the attention it deserves to manifest?
Right. So I explain to people that you're tapping into your own imagination or your own thoughts. You could have envisioned anything. Why are you envisioning this right now? What made you envision that thing? What made you say that name? What made you cry off of that emotion? Fuck if it's real or not. I don't care about that. Care about why it's becoming real to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what matters. So, and not a lot of people of melanated origin do this. Not a lot of people practice subconscious work and quantum healing and what would perceive to be hypnosis. Not a lot of people do that. So I want to be able to offer that and also try to get other individuals to learn it as well. So I'm working on creating that course and getting all that information together and things like that. But it's a process. A lot is pulling on me right now in the life. So I'm trying to keep myself organized and concise.
No, I feel you. Dope. All right, man. We'll end it on that. I'm gonna put your...
Yeah, my website is Cue Reaves, CueReaves.com. And my YouTube is the same exact thing.
That's going, and then I'll post it on the comment when we're done with the video, because that's the one time we can comment. Sweet. So everyone say fucking thanks. Everyone say thanks to Q for fucking
thank you, family,
dropping knowledge and being homies, and get him back on the channel if he's down, because I'm sure now that we've touched, like, I feel like this conversation was like what you're about, where you're from, some like major hitting points, but we haven't gotten into the like questionable or controversial or
I'm with
really,
you.
really nichey type of stuff that not many people...
I have a lot of theories about 6th generation, 6G. How we're all trying to really get into the 8th G, which is time. Like, we're on a network. You don't think time is a network?
Everything is a fucking network. Everything.
You're learning the networks or nets. And internet was the beginning of you getting into the network.
See, like that. Shit like that. All right, but I gotta grocery shop, and I think everyone's waiting on dinner for me. But yo, seriously though, Q, that was fucking... I'm stoked that you did all this. I'm super happy, and
my pleasure.
I will be booking you actually, because I'm stoked for later this week, so we'll set something up.
Sounds great.
All right. Good night, man.
All right. Peace.
Peace out.